my god! Does anybody know MCR? Give me some space!
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Yeah, for some reason, my voice is like, oh, we can sing. And I'm like, really? I don't know. So, I do apologize in advance for everybody that was looking forward to an episode last week. So, if you guys didn't follow either my TikTok or my Instagram, I did post an update. Cosmo was sick. I know I mentioned this before, but last week I gave her flea heartworm medicine, and it's been giving her like some kind of effect. And the thing is that I'm not willing to spend so much more money for her to get injection shots when I can just shove a pill up in her throat. But every time I give her that pill, she's throwing up. And it's mostly like stuff that she already ate. It's not the pill itself. It's just the side effect that she gets. But last week I was getting ready to just record the episode. Like I had everything ready and Cosmo just started throwing up. And if you guys have not checked out my blog video that I posted when I went to SpaceCon, I bought this big massive Deadpool rug. Yeah, she was throwing up on my rug and I'm like, no, not the rug. And I really love this rug, just so y'all know. So I was like, so I had no choice but skip the episode that I had planned for you guys last week and just clean the rug out. And even then, Cosmo, wherever she would go, she would just stop and throw up. So I was like, yeah, no, I am going to be so distracted recording a podcast episode with Cosmo throwing up on the other side. So I'm like, you know what? No, we're just going to go ahead and skip it. Either way, I'm kind of glad I did, because last week, whenever I was pulling up all the information that's been happening last week, it really wasn't that much. Why? Because the fucking election was last week. And that's what everybody's been talking about for so many days. And you know me, I mentioned it before, we don't talk politics here. It just divides everybody because everybody has different opinions. And I'm like, no, I'm here to entertain you guys, keeping y'all updated on stuff that you may have missed in pop culture. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Cosmo's sick. Everybody's talking about the election. I'm just going to go ahead and skip the episode. Might as well. And this week, guys, we have a shit ton of stuff. Like, there's so many tour announcements coming up. And then Yellowstone premiered last week. And then we have Grammy announcements and Survivor Series War Games confirmed matches. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this episode started. And before I start talking about pop culture, we just need to talk about two people who unfortunately passed away last week. One of them happens to be Tony Todd, who you may know as the original Candyman. He was also the voice of Venom in the Spider-Man 2 video game. And honestly, if you have heard him voice that character, it's so good. People were like, this should have been Venom, like in the movies and whatnot. But I remember that he was supposed to make an appearance back at the Houston Horror Film Festival this year, but he actually had to cancel. I assumed that he was just sick, but now it just makes a lot of sense. So it says like on Wikipedia that he's been battling a long-term illness, and unfortunately, yeah, that's what happened. But not only that, we also did lost a great music producer, Quincy Jones. He was notoriously famous for producing like so many musics from Michael Jackson, like for example, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. And he also made like other music. I think the other one was like with Austin Powers. Like I think that was the only time he made like a brief movie appearance. But other than that, like he's been behind the scenes making music. His daughter, Rashida Jones, actually wrote on social media, quote, "All accurate descriptions of my father, but his music and all of his work was channeled for his love. He was love. He made everyone he ever met feel loved and seen. That's his legacy. I was fortunate enough to experience this love in close proximity. I'll miss his hugs and kisses and unconditional devotion and advice. Daddy, it is an honor to be your daughter. Your love lives forever. So, yeah. Unfortunately, rest in peace to Tony Todd and Quincy Jones. You guys will be remembered for a long, long time. The next thing I wanted to talk about before we kick off the movies category is congratulations to John Krasinski, as he is named this year's sexiest man alive. So some people were actually relieved that it wasn't Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez's boyfriend, because they were like, oh, if Selena chose him, People magazine is gonna favor Selena's choice and then hand him the title. But it's like, no. But at the same time, there were more sexy men out there that deserve the spot. Henry Cavill. But in my opinion, bravo People magazine, because damn, if you guys have seen Jack Ryan, oh, my boy John, I swear, Emily Blunt, you are a lucky woman. Now let's go ahead and kick off the movies category. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is something that I grew up watching. So Disney and 20th Century Animation announced that Ice Age 6 is in the works. It is also said that the OG voice actors are also coming back, and that's Ray Romano, John Leguizamo, Dennis Leary, and Queen Latifah. Ice Age 6 is currently set to release in 2026. Oh, another one added to that year. Anywho, the next thing I also wanted to talk about, and this is for the Star Wars fans, we have a new project updates for this franchise. So Variety reported that the new Star Wars trilogy is being developed with X-Men alum Simon Kinberg, who will be writing and producing it. It will begin a new series after the 2019 Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And thank you to Culture Crave, because now we have an infographic of the status of these upcoming projects for Star Wars. So we mentioned, 2 weeks ago that The Mandalorian and Grogu reportedly wrapped filming and will be releasing on May 22nd, 2026. Now the next one is called The New Jedi Order. It says that it will be starring Daisy Ridley, and right now the franchise, I guess, or Disney, is currently searching for its fourth writer. This is planned to expect to release in December 2026. I'm like, already, 3 movies for next year? Plus whatever I talked about 2 weeks ago? The next one is Dawn of the Jedi movie, and this one is set 25,000 years before the Skywalker saga. I think we mentioned this one, but Lando is going to be getting a movie. So far, it's going to be written by Donald and Stephen Glover. The next one will be another unnamed Star Wars film that closes out the story told in projects like The Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and the Book of Boba Fett. Now, this one is possibly going to be a movie by Taika Waititi. I think I'm pronouncing that last name right. The script is co-written by Kristen Wilson Cairns, and Taika will likely have part in the film. Another Star Wars movie is probably going to be directed by Sean Levy, and Jonathan Tropper is writing it. The next project you may have heard of is called Rogue Squadron, and Patty Jenkins is developing it, and the script is currently being written. And then lastly, a potential Star Wars trilogy is going to be in the works, but postponed until either Rian Johnson finishes out the Knives Out films, or they're probably going to have somebody else direct it. But yeah, either way, I think people are still not going to be excited to watch a new Star Wars trilogy for the same reason that the OG cast is no longer there. But we'll see how that's going to go. And I wonder if there's going to be any more space for other Star Wars projects. But so far, all we know is that for sure Mandalorian and Grogu is carrying Star Wars at this point. I mean, do y'all agree? Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. Kevin Feige says that there's a possibility Miles Morales will become a live-action character in the MCU after Spider-Verse 3. If you think about it, we were supposed to have Beyond the Spider-Verse movie last month, but of course, as predicted, it was delayed. We don't know when it's going to be coming out. Some people are assuming it's going to come out literally in 2026, but we'll see. Breaking news for sure in a different topic is that we're getting Denzel Washington in the next Black Panther movie. I am wondering if he will have either a small or big role in the movie, and I'm possibly thinking maybe a villain role. Dun dun dun. Denzel also revealed that after Black Panther and maybe a couple more movies, he's planning to retire. If you think about it, it's the end of an era. After Denzel retires, who's gonna carry any other good movies? Because my God, my boy, he's a god in these movies. Also, check out Gladiator movie if you haven't done so, because I heard he played a really good role on it. I still haven't seen it for the same reason that I haven't seen the first Gladiator movie, but eventually I'll watch it. Now, in other news, remember when I spoke about Lionsgate planning to make a new American Psycho movie? This was last month as well. Well, it is rumored that the person playing Patrick Bateman could possibly be Jacob Elordi. Yeah. Personally, I think he could play the role really well, but everybody else is just not happy of getting another reboot movie. But again, we'll see. And then the last thing I have for you guys in the movies category is that the upcoming Predator movie, Badlands, is reporting that the Predator will be the protagonist in the film. Director Dan Trachtenberg says that, quote, the creature is front and center leading the charge. He's still a badass, but there's something there that touches you emotionally too. So I can't wait to watch it. Yes, I will be planning to watch that. Maybe, depending how good it is, or if it receives mixed reviews, we'll probably do a movie review. So stay tuned. Now let's go ahead and kick off the TV category, starting with Stranger Things. So last week, Netflix released the titles of the last episode of this series. We already know that one of them is going to be called The Crawl. Okay? But the next one, or give me a second actually, let me go ahead and tell you what it's called, and then once I finish talking about the rest of the episode titles, we're gonna come back to this one. But it says The Vanishing of Blank. Yeah. And then after that, episode 3, it's gonna be The Turnbull Trap. Episode 4 is gonna be The Sorcerer. 5 is gonna be Shock Jock. Episode 6 is gonna be Escape from Kamazotz. I think that's how you pronounce it. 7 is gonna be The Bridge, and the final episode is gonna be called The Right Side Up. Instead of the upside down. Oh my God, the opposite of that. Anywho, back to episode number 2, The Vanishing of Blank. We also got some behind the scenes images of the show, and yes, the kids are grown. You know, it's at the same time, it's like, okay, end the series already, because you can't make the kids younger at this point. But one thing I also cannot help but to notice is that Dusty got a mullet with curls. Another picture that I also got to see is, the gang hanging out like nothing, like in the car. But all I gotta say is protect Steve at all costs. Please don't let him be the one that vanishes, okay? I will lose it. But still, I can't wait for this series to end already, because we need the conclusion like a long ass time ago. So yeah, and we're probably gonna be talking about the series whenever the episodes come out, and then I'll throw my thoughts in there. But anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. Fallout Season 2 just got even more interesting. So Deadline confirmed that Home Alone's Macaulay Culkin will be joining the series' second season, and it is said that he will be playing a crazy genius type character. Some fans are predicting that he might play Arcade Gannon, who shows up in Fallout New Vegas, because if we already talked about Fallout, that's what everybody's been talking about, is that we're just going to be getting New Vegas in Season 2. The jokes, oh my God, I swear to God, I cannot help it. And thank you to everybody that contributed in the jokes. Like, for example, Home Alone in the Vault, or Vault Alone 2, Lost in the Sauce. Literally, but I can't wait. I'm already excited for the second season to come out, because, oh my God, it was so entertaining. Definitely go check out the first season of Fallout if you guys haven't done so. The next thing I also wanted to talk about, and it's another video game turning into a TV series. So Amazon MGM Studios have finally begun developing on Mass Effect TV show that it was announced back in 2021. It is also announced that Daniel Casey is set to write and executive produce the series. The same Daniel Casey who also wrote Fast and the Furious 9. So video game fans are not having it. So there is this one person on social media that said in the comments, Fast and the Furious? What, is Shepard gonna drift in Normandy? Fuck that. So yeah, you guys can already assume what to expect for that. But who knows, if you guys are fans of the franchise, definitely go check it out whenever it comes out. Anywho, in other news, Lady Gaga has been casted in Wednesday's second season. My question is, will she be performing in an episode, or will she be like a character in the series? Some people are already like, no, you already did a musical in Joker. We don't need another musical on the Wednesday season 2. So yeah. Anywho, another thing else I wanted to talk about is that Andor season 2 is set to premiere on April 22nd, 2025. Finally, something that's gonna be coming out next year. Now that I finished watching Schitt's Creek and Agatha all along, I might watch the first season so I can be set whenever the next one comes out. I only got a couple months to spare, so yeah. The other thing is, in case if you didn't know, The Last of Us Part 2's release date is no longer going to be in January. I know, so sad. But it has a spring 2025 instead. Please, Max, for the love of God, do not push it, okay? We already want to watch this series so bad and, kind of already relive our trauma that we've seen in the video game. Moving along, Peacemaker Season 2 is set to release in August 2025. So you have plenty of time to watch Season 1 if you haven't done so. Now, the last thing I do need to talk about before we move it along in the music category is Yellowstone. So, I was going to talk about this last week, but fuck it, let's go ahead and pretend that we're last week. So, part 2 of Yellowstone's 5th and final season literally premiered last week. And the good thing, I watched the episode because we need to talk about it. But it's been 2 years since the first part of season 5 premiered. And with all the drama and the delays that we've talked about, it's time to wrap up the show. Kevin Costner is not returning as John Dutton for this final part. So there was so many theories that could have happened in the series, but now that I got to see the episode last week, I'm like, oh, great. Now we know how he's no longer in the series. So if you guys haven't seen Yellowstone and are planning to watch it, maybe skip the next minute or so, because I'm about to talk about what happened in the last week's episode. So here's your spoiler warning in 3, 2, 1. So how in the hell do we know John Dutton's no longer in the series? Well, apparently he killed himself. Yeah, I did not like how they just started the episode just like that, like out of nowhere, and I'm like, really? It got to the point where I needed to rewatch the first part of season 5 just to make sense of what happened in the premiere of part 2, because I was like, ain't no way it ended with John Dutton having like a moment where it's like, okay, I need to kill myself, whatever. And then boom, this is what happened. Like, it just threw us off. But at the same time, we already knew, because again, behind the scenes of all this drama that's been going on, they had to make it work like this. And now, because of this whole premiere, everybody was saying, fuck Taylor Sheridan for having this drama with Kevin Costner, because John Dutton was like basically the main character of the series. So now that he's no longer there, it's like, great, now we have to endure the finale of it. But in a way, like, even though he's not there anymore, it makes sense because it's still leading up to the plot, because again, it's gonna be the series finale. So it's like a win-lose kind of situation if you think about it. It was also being rumored that maybe potentially Beth and Rip might carry season 6, but who are we kidding? Just go ahead and end it right then and there. So there's always going to be a new episode of Yellowstone every Sunday from 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Paramount Network, and then 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Thank God I have both channels, so I can literally just watch the episode on Paramount Network, and then if I just want to rewatch it, I just have to wait later on and rewatch it on CBS. So right now we have a total of 5 episodes remaining until Yellowstone finally wraps it up. So we have episode 10 premiering tonight on the 17th. 11th is gonna be on the 24th. Episode 12 will be on December 1st. Episode 13 will be December 8th. And then lastly, episode 14 will wrap up the entire series on December 15th. I think I'll wait until December 15th to talk about my thoughts of the entire series. But in the meantime, I'm like, yeah, stay tuned for tonight to see what the episode's gonna bring. But yeah, I'm excited since, again, the only reason why I started watching it is because of my sister-in-law. But then Cosmo got hooked up on the show, so we just continued watching the series after that. But anywho, that is the last thing I have for you guys in the TV category. Now let's talk about music and all of these tour announcements. But first, let's talk about Killswitch Engage. So if you guys are a fan, listen up. A new single is coming out on November 20th. So the song is called This Consequence. And I feel like an album will be announced soon to kick off that upcoming tour that we talked about 2 weeks ago. So yeah. And keep in mind, Killswitch Engage hasn't released any new music since 2019. So there's that. Anywho, remember the As I Lay Dying drama I talked about 2 weeks ago? Well, the remaining member that's still there, Tim Lembesis, released a statement after the band member's departure. He said, quote, "Hi everyone, I needed some time to process all that has happened recently with As I Lay Dying. As I reflect, I certainly agree that there was, keyword was, an unhealthy environment that made leaving for a new tour with the previous lineup unrealistic. It had become difficult to figure out even the smallest details, and I admit I can stick to my vision for the future of As I Lay Dying, even when others think it should go another direction. It saddens me to think about the behaviors, communications, and patterns of interaction that led up to the tour cancellation. Phil and I no longer saw eye to personally, creatively, or financially. Discussions during this time prompted his decision to depart first, with each of the touring members deciding to leave shortly after, as they were not interested in going on without him. Unfortunately, that wasn't the order in which everything was made public, as some statements were rushed out during a chaotic time in response to rumors. I fully support each of the guys' decisions to leave and believe that this time it is best for everyone. With that being said, my door will always remain open to discussing anything directly, as I believe closing communication leads to many assumptions and problems of its own. Now, regarding what's next, As I Lay Dying was founded on persistence and determination. For anyone who is familiar with the foundational years from 2000 to 2004, you know that more than 20 people, in parentheses, whom I'm incredibly grateful for, in parentheses, have come and gone to help bring to life this vision I've had in my head since I was 19 years old. I look forward to building a new team and creating an atmosphere that is supportive, positive, and fosters a creative environment. Through Storms Ahead will still be released November 15, which is actually available now to listen to if you guys are listening right now. And then it says, I am proud of what we created and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. Now, this is what I mean, 2 weeks ago? Will people still support As I Lay Dying after this? And whenever this album was released, it looks like people are still listening to it. Because, for example, Whitewashed Tomb right now currently has over 1 million streams. And then this is from the new album, by the way. There's other songs, I did not know this, but Alex Terrible is actually on one of these songs. It's called We Are the Dead, and I need to listen to it because it's been released for quite some time. And that one, again, also has 1.7 million streams. And then another song called Burden, that one has 4 million streams. So yeah, this is what I mean, guys. No matter how much you think this whole situation is shitty, people are still gonna listen to As I Lay Dying. So yeah. But anywho, do what you will with this information. We gotta move it along because we gotta kick off the tour announcements, starting off with Slipknot. So Slipknot announced their European tour that will be kicking off on April 6th. They will be at Sweden Rock at Sloveborg, Sweden. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But they have so many other stops. They're going to be in France, they're going to be in Deutschland, they're going to be in Switzerland, Italy, Denmark, and most of these are in festivals. So if you guys are in Europe that are listening, definitely go check out these tour dates. And it doesn't say 25th anniversary anymore, so could that possibly mean that they're going to be playing other songs? Maybe finally from their previous album, The End So Far? You know, just saying. Another person is also going to be going on a European tour, and this happens to be Till Lindemann. So he's going to be kicking off his Meine Welt Tour 2025 with special guest Aesthetic Perfection. So Meine Welt also means my world tour. So he will be kicking it off on October 29th, and this is next year, by the way. I'm like not talking about he's already on tour. No. So next year he will be at Leipzig, Deutschland at the Quarterback Immobilien Arena, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I couldn't help but to notice that most of these dates are going to be in Germany, but there's a few, like for example, he's going to be in Paris, France on November 20th. He's going to be in Vienna, Austria on the 29th of November. So if you guys, again, are listening in Europe, definitely check out the tour stops. Maybe Till will be making a stop near you. He did also say that there are more shows to be announced, but tickets will be on sale tomorrow. Also, quick side note, Till Lindemann will also be a part of Summerpalooza in Erfurt, Deutschland on July 4th, and then he will also be at Lucca Summer Festival in Lucca, Italy on July 6th, and lastly, Masters of Rock in Vizovice, Czechia. I think I'm pronouncing it right, but you know, the Czech Republic, and that will be on July 11th. Now, the next tour announcement, and we were just talking about it in the beginning of the episode whenever I was trying to sing the song, but My Chemical Romance announced that they will be going on tour with the Long Live the Black Parade Stadium tour. They will be kicking it off starting on July 11, 2025 at Seattle, Washington at the T-Mobile Park. But here's the thing. They're going to have so many different special guests like on the different days. So like Seattle, Washington, you guys are going to be getting MCR and Violent Femmes. I think that's who they are. I never heard of them. But the other dates, we have San Francisco, Los Angeles. The only Texas stop happens to be Arlington, Texas at the Globe Life Field. You know, just where Linkin Park was performing with Bad Omens. But like Arlington, Texas is going to be getting Garbage. That's the band, okay? Just saying. Death Cab for Cutie is going to be at East Rutherford, New Jersey. And then we also have Philadelphia, Toronto, Chicago, Boston, and Tampa. But I'm over here like, are these it? Also, like, I kind of wanted to go. So I got to see the tickets. The tickets are now on sale. But some of those prices, I'm not shitting you. It was hella expensive. I think the cheapest ticket that I got to see, like, for the Arlington show was, like, $107. And that's, like, top seats. Here's the other shitty thing, too. That whenever I went to go buy the tickets, it was the day of that, you know, the sale was ongoing. And I think I had like maybe over 5,000 people ahead of me. I didn't stay like, you know, early to sign in on the queue for Ticketmaster, but I was like, you know what, I'm just curious to see how much the tickets were gonna be. And then that kind of depended whether if I'm gonna go or not. It's MCR. I'm not too big on it. I mean, yeah, I grew up listening to them, but I wasn't so big that I'm like, oh my god, I need to see them live, you know. But when I finally got to where the tickets were at, most of those tickets, like the really good seats, are already on resale price. Like, it was hella expensive. And I'm like, damn, like, these people are so fucking shitty that they just stayed on the queue just to snag the seats. And then all of a sudden, boom, resale for like over $500. I'm like, no. Okay, here's the thing. Right now, as we're speaking, I'm actually on the Ticketmaster queue. There was like 3 people ahead of me. Okay, I'm like, it's Sunday. How are people still trying to buy tickets and there's a queue? But I was like, okay, I'm curious to see how much these tickets were gonna be. And so far, like platinum seats, we're standing at $451. And I'm like, oh my god. Also, here's another thing I noticed. There's 2 stages in every single venue that you go. There's 2 stages. Like, there's the main stage And then there's the pit. And right behind the pit, it says B stage. I'm like, what? But anywho, let me show you like one of the most expensive resale. It's literally section E, row 1. And this is Arlington, by the way. Arlington, Texas. But if you look at section E, row 1, seats 1 and 2, this fucker has been reselling these 2 tickets for $4,648 plus the fees. This does not include the fees, by the way. And I was like, you guys fucking suck. I swear to God. However, there is, well, I mean, it's still the same thing. There is 1 seat on section F, row 1. Seat number 3 is $2,000 plus fees. I'm like, ain't no fucking way. The good thing is there's still some seats that are like not for resale. Unfortunately, it's under official platinum seats and they're $701 just to get floor seats on official platinum. I'm trying to see. No, official platinum. Another one. No, official. The more back you go, the lower the price is. So like, for example, section P, row 5, seat 15 is $501. And I'm like, I don't know why some of these people thought, oh, let's buy these seats and put them for resale, because there's still so many other official platinum seats that are still regular price, which is perfect, I guess. But for sure, like the ones that are closer to the B stage, for example, yeah, those are mostly gone, except for like maybe a ticket or 2. If you're planning to go by yourself, perfect. Pit tickets, however, they're already like gone, and so far people are reselling it for $1,058 plus fees. I mean, it's better than the ones that's like right in front, you know, the one that was like almost $4,000. And then if you go higher up, most of those seats are taken except for one. Like for example, this one, section 17, row 12, seat 1, preferred seating, and this is regular price, not resale, is standing at $229 with 50 cents plus fees. But then there's a description. It says foul ball net in place. So I don't know if that's like obstruct your view, God knows what. But yeah, almost all the seats that are up are mostly taken or are under verified resale. So yeah, that's already a lost cause for those that are planning to still buy tickets under regular pricing. I don't know, but me, I'm like, I'm already out. Like, I'm not going. I'm telling you guys that right now. Yeah, I mean, I listen to MCR, but not as much to where I'm like, oh my God, again, I don't have that same enthusiasm like I did for like Slipknot or Slaughter to Prevail. So I'm like, yeah, no, maybe another day. If not, it's okay. It's not the end of the world for me, but yeah. Anywho, like I mentioned, tickets are now on sale if you guys aren't interested and going to see MCR. The next tour announcement I have for you guys is Linkin Park from Zero World Tour. So they not only announced this world tour, but they also released their album From Zero, which is available for you guys to stream it and listen to it. I haven't given it a chance for the same reason that I'm like, I'm just not gonna give it a try. Why at this point? I already throw my thoughts of how I feel about the band moving on. That's all I gotta say. But here's the thing. When I saw the special guests, it's so much. And I'm like, oh God. So like they put a lot of symbols for the dates to see, oh, which special artists are you gonna be getting alongside with Linkin Park. So they're gonna be kicking off this world tour in Mexico City on January 31st. And they will be joined with special guest AFI. So for Mexico, AFI is going to be performing. So it's not only Mexico City, but also Guadalajara and Monterrey. They're also going to be in Tokyo for 2 days, which is February 11th and the 12th. But they don't have any special guests after that. They're going to be in a couple of places that I'm not going to go like in details with all of them. Just know that even though they already went to Dallas, literally couple weeks ago, the only stop in Texas happens to be on April 26th, and that is in Austin. But they will be joined with Grandson, which which I never heard of. So I was like, it's okay. I'm not even going to bother. So there's that. But if you guys are interested, definitely check out this world tour announcement. So you might get either, well, AFI is going to be in Mexico, but there's also going to be Architects, well, Grandson, how I mentioned, Gene Dawson, JPEG Mafia, Pavris, I think that's how you pronounce it too. And then lastly, Spirit Box. So pre-sale happens to be tomorrow. And then the general on sale will be on November 21st. So set your reminders if you guys are planning to buy your tickets. Following this announcement, Rockfeed also reported that the band is filming their show in Brazil that may be released in 2025 in theaters. Some fans want like a documentary leading up to the performance, and then others are also saying like, oh, hopefully they show how the band decided to move on with Chester. So yeah, that's still in the talks. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. Download Festival announced their lineup for next year, and the headliners will surprise you. Up the first 3 bands that we see at the very top: Green Day, Sleep Token, and Korn. And then more other bands right underneath that we got: Weezer, Bullet for My Valentine, Jimmy Eat World, Spirit Box, Sex Pistols, Within Temptation, Steel Panther, Cradle of Filth, Apocalyptica, Lorna Shore. I'm like, hey, you know. But we also have a few more underneath, like Bleed From Within, CKY, Ginger, Dayseeker, Poppy, which I'm not surprised. She's been in a lot of festivals now that I think about it. And then many other more at the very bottom, which I'm not going to name all of them. But this festival will be kicking off on June 13th to the 15th next year. And here's the thing, there was a lot of people complaining about the 3 main headliners because one of them apparently didn't sit well with people, and that happened to be Sleep Token. It got to the point where Download Festival founder Andy Copping, I hope that's how you pronounce his last name, explains the decision for Sleep Token to headline, pointing out the need to bring new bands to the headline level. He said, quote, "The festival will die if we don't move with the times. It was seeing their meteoric rise the last 2 years, and that made me think, this is a band that deserves to be elevated. I think it's important for the festival to bring new bands through the headline. Back in the day, I did it with Slipknot, Avenged Sevenfold, and Biffy Clyro. More recently, in 2023, we did it with Bring Me the Horizon. Now, all of these bands are recognized worldwide as festival headliners. It feels like we're the first major festival to take the bull by the horns and say, okay, it's time. It's Sleep Token's moment. I know it's going to be amazing for them, amazing for the festival, and amazing for the fans. My personal opinion, thank you. Thank you, because yes, I have been listening to Sleep Token for a while now. And honestly, I'm glad that they're pushing it forward with them. And I know some people are saying no because there's other bands that have been performing for so long that deserve to be in the headline level. But here's the thing. If you listen to Sleep Token, it got popular because of one song. And I feel like that's The Summoning. But still, it's getting to a point they're getting awards, they're being recognized, and their music just slaps really hard, honestly. Definitely go listen to them. I mentioned it before. My recommended songs, or these are basically my favorite songs that I listen to Sleep Token, is Sugar, Vor, and I would say Take Me Back to Eden. That's another one. They're all good songs, but for sure I listen to those 3 and it's so good. It's like something that I never listened to before, and there's some lore behind it as well. So I feel like yes, Sleep Token does deserve its moment. And honestly, and I was gonna point this out too, there's so many repetition of bands that we see in these festivals where some people will complain, oh great, what's new, you know, whatever. Download Festival is just breaking that because we kind of figure eventually people are gonna get bored. So good thing they're doing this. And with that being said, let's look at Welcome to Rockville. So they're going to be kicking off their festival on May 15, 16, 17, and 18 of next year. And same thing, some of these bands, I'm like, wait a second, I just announced some of them. But kicking off on Thursday, we're going to get Shine Down, Three Doors Down, Hellstorm, Theory of a Dead Man, Blue October, Evans Blue, Rob Zombie, 3 Days Grace, 2X, you know, 2 lead singers, 10. We're also going to be getting Trivium, Crossfade is like in small letters, but yeah. Finger 11, we're also gonna be getting Bullet for My Valentine, Asking Alexandria, We Come as Romans, and Arch Enemy, and so many other bands more. I'm not gonna name all of the bands, but at the same time, I'm like, some of them I already mentioned before, so meh. Friday, we have Green Day, Alice in Chains, Jimmy Eat World, Newfound Glory, Good Charlotte, Sublime, Bush, Knock Loose, Kubla Khan, Texas, Kill Switch Engage, Ginger, As I Lay Dying is also in there, just so y'all know. Under Oath, and more. And then Saturday, we have Linkin Park, Incubus, Beartooth, Taking Back Sunday, POD, Pierce the Veil, I Prevail, Hollywood Undead, Sleeping with Sirens, Of Mice and Men, Escape the Fate, Mastodon, but then right underneath Mastodon, it's blurred out. So I'm like, oh, it's probably gonna be a surprise. But anywho, there's more bands like Dayseeker again, Whitechapel, and more. And then lastly, Sunday, we have Korn, Marilyn Manson, Chevelle, Daughtry, Filter, Bad Omens is in here, Mudvayne, Motionless in White, Seven Dust, Insane Clown Posse, Testament, The Black Dahlia Murder, Chiodos, Hawthorne Heights, Memphis Mayfire, Bless the Fall, Attack on Tag, Power Trip, and more. I mean, it's a jam-packed weekend, but I know for sure the tickets should be on sale right now. I did get to see like the vacation packages, so you can go like and get your hotel, the passes and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the tickets are on sale, so definitely go check it out if you guys are interested. The next tour that was announced, this was last week, Papa Roach is going to be celebrating their 25th anniversary of their first album, Infest, and they will be co-headlining this tour with Rise Against to bring the Rise of the Roach tour joined with Under Oath. Here's the fun part, they're kicking off their tour here in Houston on March 20th. And then they're going to be in San Antonio on the 22nd, Dallas on the 23rd, and then making their way to Phoenix, San Diego, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Portland, Seattle, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, yada, 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 and so forth, so forth. But they will be ending their tour on October 5th at West Palm Beach, Florida. Tickets are also on sale. The other one is Czechia's Rock for People Festival, and they reveal some of their lineup bands that will be performing. So this will be on June 11th to the 14th of next year. The first thing we see, Slipknot on Thursday, June 12th, and then Linkin Park on Saturday, June 14th. So yeah. And then there's a bunch of more bands on there. We got In Flames, Motionless in White, Idols, Poppy, no surprise, Skillet, Spirit Box, and many other more. So if you guys are in the Czech Republic, definitely go check it out. The last festival, oh my god, yes, we're finally almost there. The last festival I wanted to talk about is the Slam Dunk Festival, where they announced their lineup, but for some reason it's giving me Warped Tour vibes. The first thing I see is A Day to Remember, but then the rest of the bands, I'm over here like, yeah, what in the Warped Tour? Alkaline Trio, that's somebody I haven't heard in so long. Less Than Jake, and then if you keep looking close, we got Neck Deep, Newfound Glory, we also have The Used, Twin Atlantic, and more. So if you guys are interested, definitely go check it out because the tickets are also on sale. And we have one more thing to talk about before we end the music category, and that is the Grammy nominations. Oh my god. So here's the thing, I'm not just gonna be talking about like the rock or metal alternative category. Also need to talk about like the very famous category. So yeah, but here's the thing, we found out who are gonna be nominated for, like, for example, the best metal performance. Unfortunately, Ghost is not nominated on here, and I thought they were, but no, it's not gonna happen. But here's the thing, the list here kind of surprised me for a bit. So for best metal performance, we got Mea Culpa Asaira, which is by Gojira along with the other people that collaborated for the Olympics. And I was like, that is kind of like my favorite pick, just so y'all know. But then we also have Crowns of Horns by Judas Priest, Suffocate by Knock Loose featuring Poppy. I was like, hold up. Knock Loose is now Grammy nominated. Let's go. Highly recommend for you guys to listen to that song. I love it. Hell, I got to see it perform live too, except minus Poppy, so yeah. And then the other one is Screaming Suicide by Metallica, and then lastly Cellar Door by Spiritbox. Now, when it comes to the Grammys, a lot of people are saying, no, people who like pick the nominations have not listened to other bands because it's always like the same people that are getting nominated. But hell, at the same time, Knock Loose is in this list, so tone down the criticism. At the same time, other people are already predicting who's probably gonna win the Grammy for this category, and it happens to be Metallica. So either way, I'm over here rooting for Gojira because again, that performance during the Olympics, it was a historical moment when it comes to the metal community. And at the same time, it was so fucking good. So that's who I'm rooting for. I'm sorry, Knock Loose, but Gojira has to take the win for this one. Anywho, the other category is Best Rock Performance. And this one, I mean, we talked about this one song, but oh my god, has it been a year since we talked about this song? Now and Then by the Beatles. So yeah, that's probably the favorite one out of all of this whole list. The rest of the nominees are Beautiful People, Stay High by the Black Keys, The American Dream Is Killing Me by Green Day, Gift Horse by Idols, Dark Matter by Pearl Jam, and Broken Man by Saint Vincent. So just know I haven't listened to all of these songs besides Now and Then. So that kind of gives you an idea why I'm rooting for them. And then we also have the category for Best Rock Song, and it's the same kind of list. So Beautiful People, Stay High by the Black Keys, Broken Man, Saint Vincent, Dark Matter by Pearl Jam. This one's different. Dilemma by Green Day, and then Gift Horse by Idols. And then for Best Rock Album, we have Happiness Bastards by the Black Crowes, Romance by Fountainese DC, Saviors by Green Day, TANGK. I don't know if that's Tang K by Idols. I'm just gonna spell it out. And then Dark Matter by Pearl Jam, Hackney Diamonds by the Rolling Stones, and then No Name by Jack White. I have a feeling Green Day is gonna win this one. And then Best Alternative Music Performance, we got Neon Pill by KHD Elephant, Song of the Lake by Nick Cave and Bad Seeds, Starburster by Fountainese DC, Bye Bye by Kim Gordon, Flee by St. Vincent. And then Best Alternative Music Album, which is Wild God by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Charm by Clyro, The Collective by Kim Gordon, What Now by Brittany Howard, and All Born Screaming by St. Vincent. But anywho, that's like, you know, my favorite categories. But now I gotta talk about like the main categories. For example, Best New Artist. This year was a great year for a lot of these artists to come out and just gain their popularity at this point. But at the same time, when I look at this list, I'm like, damn, it's a really close call to choose which artist really did make a breakout performance to a point that they deserve a Grammy. So these are the nominees. Benson Boone, I mean, come on, he wrote that song Beautiful Things, so that one was very mainstream. And then there's Sabrina Carpenter. I say it like that because technically speaking, she's not considered a new artist because Short and Sweet is like her 6th album. But all of a sudden, she went mainstream, and yeah, they put her into this category. So I don't know how she really feels about it, but hey, she's there. And then we have Chapel Roan. I mean, Hot to Go went ballistic in the charts, and they were like, you know what? Yeah, she deserves to be nominated on this one. And then we have Shabuzi. Shabuzi is one of those artists that changed the way how we listen to music, because the way how he does music is more like country, but pop at the same time, and it's very catchy. But then there's these other artists that I never heard of, so I'm sorry. But Teddy Swims, Rye, and then I think it's Doichi. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, guys, but all hope is lost right there with y'all. Just saying. I can't tell you guys who I'm rooting for. So I'm like, those are my favorite artists in a way. So I would just say whoever wins, they deserve it. That's all I gotta say about that. And then we have the next category, which is Song of the Year. I was surprised Espresso wasn't in here, and that was by Sabrina. But these are the nominees. We have A Bar Song by Shabuzi. And then we have Birds of a Feather with Billie Eilish. So, yeah, that was very mainstream. And then we have, I want to say this is one of my favorite songs. It reminds me The Future is a Foreign Land by Ghost. And that song happens to be Die With a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. It's the same way. And the chorus of this song says, if the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. And then with Future is a Foreign Land, it's basically when it all burns down, I will hold you close for the minute. Like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, that's so cute. But anywho, the next nominee is Fortnite by Taylor Swift, so no surprise there. Then there's Good Luck Babe by Chaperone, so I'm like, yeah, I kind of like that song. And then there's Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. I'm like, damn. From the roasting, Drake didn't win this because Kendrick ended up getting Grammy nominated for this, and Drake is left empty-handed. That says a lot, just saying. And then the next one is Please, Please, Please by Sabrina Carpenter. And then lastly, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce. And again, I was like, well, instead of Please, 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 we could have gotten Espresso. But at the same time, I really like Please, Please, Please. So, I don't know. Whoever wins, again, they probably deserve it. And then the next category is Album of the Year. Some of these albums, I was like, damn. Honestly, though, I have a feeling Sabrina's going to win because she does have a lot of hits under her album. But here are the nominees. We have New Blue Sun by Andre 3000. Never heard of it. And then there's Cowboy Carter by Beyonce. That one was really good. It had a country theme in a way, so I didn't listen to it as much. Short and Sweet by Sabrina Carpenter. Brat by Charlie XCX. So I'm like, there's some good songs in there. So maybe, possibly, I don't know. Then we have The G's. I think that's how you pronounce it. Volume 4 by Jacob Collier. I don't think he's gonna win because I never heard of it. So there's that. And then we have Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. Chaperone, The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. And then Torture Poets Department by Taylor Swift. So we'll see who's going to win on that one. And then lastly, we have Record of the Year. Again, this one, I think you can hear Cosmo in the background. She just woke up. And I also bought her this toy, which she's pretty obsessed with. So yeah, hopefully she doesn't interrupt me. But anywho, Record of the Year, we got Now and Then by the Beatles, Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Then we have 360 by Charlie XCX, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, Good Luck Babe by Chaperone, and then lastly, Fortnite by Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone. Honestly, I don't know. There were so many good songs here. But if I'm basing it off of what the people are saying, that the Grammys, they're very selective. They already have their favorites. No matter how good another artist is and their music, popping off and whatnot, they're always going to pick the same people. I have a feeling maybe Taylor Swift is probably going to win this one. Or Beyonce. Beyonce has a lot of awards. I don't know, but this coming year on 2025, I'm definitely going to tune into the Grammys and see who's going to win. Of course, the Grammys is going to be on Sunday, February 2nd. So we're probably going to be talking about it the following week after that. And with that being said, that wraps up the music category. Let's go ahead and talk about gaming. I only have 3 things for you guys. Since the GTA 6 jokes are still going around, Take-Two Interactive confirmed that GTA 6 is still set to release in fall 2025. Shout out to Jimmy Bizzle 8200 for saying, quote, "We got confirmation of GTA 6 before GTA 6. Oh my god, these jokes, I swear. But yeah, I can't wait. I think, again, like I mentioned before, this is probably going to be the only time where I either A, have to upgrade my console, and then B, potentially, making the time and effort to actually play a video game. So we'll see. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is that the Nintendo Switch is getting an upgrade, and it is said that it will be backwards compatible with the original Switch games. Good, because I don't plan on spending money on games that I already been playing. This is probably like the only console I will for sure update and use it during the holidays. But I'm pretty sure this console is not going to be coming out probably like maybe next year or so. So there's that. And speaking of handheld consoles, Phil Spencer confirmed that Microsoft is planning to release an Xbox handheld console, but it is years away from its release. Guys, we will have GTA 6 before the Xbox handheld console, so there's that. And that wraps up all I have for you guys in the gaming category. Now let's talk about wrestling, and I need to wrap it up soon because we're about to hit the hour mark. There is big news in the women's division. The SmackDown women's roster has added their first women's United States Championship. The design is still the same as the men's United States Championship, but sports the white leather instead. Nick Aldis says that this championship will be earned, so will there be like a tournament? Fans want Chelsea or Naomi to win it, and I'm just like, at this point, I don't care if Chelsea wins it. I mean, she kind of deserves it, but we'll see. But also, does that mean that we will get eventually the announcement of the first Women's Intercontinental Championship? I mean, I don't know if so, because I thought we were going to get it this past Monday and we haven't heard anything. So, when? And I can't wait to see the design if that happens. Another thing, we have less than 2 months until the year is over and WWE will be moving to Netflix. So, with these new belts that are going to be added, I'm assuming the shows will be back to 3 hours, hopefully. Also, I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to watch the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, because it was constantly buffering and giving us like error notifications. So now you know that Netflix has like a lot of work to do when it comes to these streaming live kind of option, because everybody was trying to watch the fight. So you can imagine how it's going to be whenever WWE goes live. So yeah, hurry up Netflix. You guys have until 2025, literally in a couple of weeks. So yeah. Anywho, and then the last thing before we wrap up this episode, we need to talk about Survivor Series War Games. So far we do have some confirmed matches. Gunther will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. I'm low-key sad because I know Gunther is going to retain, but I really want Damian to be back as El Campeón. So we'll see how that's going to go. The other match, and this is kind of like a spoiler in case if you guys are not prepared to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Keep in mind that last week Raw ended up pre-taping their next week's episode, which is going to be for tomorrow. And a lot of people, obviously, that was in the live audience, already leaked of what's gonna happen. So here's your spoiler warning in case if you don't want to know. So 3, 2, 1. Rhea Ripley comes back tomorrow. So there's that. And it looks like she's gonna be challenging Liv and her team. So for the War Games match is gonna be like for the women. And again, it was totally random because some of these team members don't really have a storyline placement, but they're just there. So it's going to be Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, and Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. At this point, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Team Rhea wins because sweet Jesus, those teammates are jack-packed. So yeah, we'll see how that's going to go. And then the last confirmed match. I have so many thoughts about this one. We've been wanting the Bloodline Wars for so long, and the way how we wanted it is not what we're going to be getting this coming premium live event. So, last Monday, Sami Zayn wanted to recruit Seth Rollins to join as the 5th member in the Team OTC or OG, whatever they want to call it. But after past feuds with Roman, Seth was like, nah, no thanks, bye. And then this past Friday on SmackDown, we find out that Bronson Reed joins as the 5th member in the Team Temu bloodline. So some of you guys can already do the math because Seth Rollins has beef with Bronson Reed and they still haven't squared that off. So you already know that Seth will eventually join because of that. So what we originally wanted was Roman, Jay, Jimmy, and Zilla Fatu versus Solo, Jacob, Tama, and Tonga. Others also wanted to have The Rock join as the leader of, Temu bloodline, whatever. And Sammy would still be the 5th member in Roman's team. But no, we got a whole different thing. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Zilla Fatu has said in previous interviews, because everybody's been wanting him to come to WWE. But it feels like it's his decision, not WWE's. Because Zilla said that he still needs to figure out what type of character he wants to bring in. Obviously, he still wants to bring in Umaga, his late dad. But he also wants to twist it up and give himself a reputation or something different aside from Umaga. So I think that's the reason why we're getting what we're getting now. But I'm pretty sure, I guess, it will be worth the wait because eventually we will be getting Roman versus The Rock. And I'm praying and hoping is on this coming year's WrestleMania. Also, if you missed, again, this past Friday's SmackDown episode, Roman tried to call the wise man Paul Heyman, but it looks like his number is no longer in service. And I think Roman forgot that Solo broke Paul Heyman's phone, but at the same time, Homeboy has so much money he could easily get a new phone. I don't know, but hopefully the wise man does return because I kind of low-key miss it. But I'm laughing over the fact that people are already making Roman Reigns memes based on that whole little clip that just happened. So, anywho, with that being said, that wraps up this week's episode. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. Yeah, something's going on over there. I need to figure it out. But anywho, yes. We catched up 2 weeks worth of content, and again, it wasn't that much, but we still made it over the hour mark, so hooray! But I hope you guys did enjoy this week's episode. Next week, I don't know what I'm gonna be talking about, just know that. Anything can happen in pop culture, that's what I love about it, so as always, I will talk to you guys on the next one.